And this meeting is being recorded. Okay, you have my permission. So the first question that they're looking for is really understanding that the student has a good understanding of the location of where they're studying and the facilities, and that they hope, and what do they hope to access at the university. The second is understanding of the course choice and expectation that the information on the web pages has been read and digested fully by the student. Third is the clarity on why they want to study in the UK and what they hope to experience and achieve once they have graduated. And the fourth is what they are looking for is any explanation on gaps between gaps in study. So this would be more for master's students rather than bachelor students. So there are two parts to the interview, the credibility interview and the academic interview. So the main questions are, what is the name of the course you're applying for? A lot of students get confused if they're applying for more than one course. So they sometimes trip up on this easy question. Then give a personal introduction of the academic and professional background they have. Then we're looking for reasons for deciding to progress with study and reasons for deciding to progress specifically with study in the UK. Again, some students are applying for different countries, USA, Australia, wherever, and they get confused between the two. So they really want to check why they're wanting to study in the UK. Then an important question is, what are their short and long-term plan for career future? So importantly here is that students don't say they want to have the ability to stay in the UK and to work in the UK, because the entire the most important thing is to prove the links with their home country, as you know. So don't let them trip up on that. They need to be wanting to go back to their home country. The next one is, do you have any friends or family in the UK? And again, even if they have friends and family in the UK, it's better not to talk about that, to say no to that question. I'm not going to go through all these questions, Richard,
No.
I think.
But I have a very important point, which we find out is now why the UKVI is interviews so long as students at the moment. There are one or two very, very important reasons. One of them, logically, is they want to find out if they have friends there in the UK. So we suggest not say no. Logically, if they have a very close relation, like a brother or sister, they cannot say no. They need to say the truth. This is logically. But this question is a very important point. They need to understand if the candidate wish to remain in the UK or not. And this point, maybe Chris, you can explain the importance. The candidate need to explain if they do an MBA or a master that they do this in the UK. So when they go back in the home country, they will have jobs available for them, or they will be able to apply into a company in the home country because they did the master and MBA. Maybe you can explain this a little bit better, Chris, this part.
Yeah,
actually,
certainly.
Dr. Chris, for this answer, how I prepare my students, suppose they are studying MBA, so they should say, definitely I shall return back to my country. My country is a growing economy. I have all my family, friends, my property are all back in my hometown. My country is a growing economy.
Yeah, absolutely.
In my country.
I just share with you a true story about my brother. When I was quite a lot younger, I worked in the USA, and my brother wanted to come over on holiday to visit me on a visitor's visa, and he applied for this visitor visa, and he failed because he honestly put on the form that he has a brother in the USA. So he filled a new application in and left off that he has a brother in the USA, and they let him come in. So this has been going. This is in the 80s. This has been going. It's not a new thing, but that was for the USA. So to answer the reasons for returning to the home country are the most important. They're looking to make sure that they have so strong ties to their home country. So good examples are, as you've mentioned, Mrs. Malan. Sorry, I forgot your name.
Yes, don't worry.
Yes. So the first is having a job to go back to. If you have a job, such as, and a good example is quite often they will have a family business to go back to, or they have a company that has said if they get a master's from the UK, they will be able to go back into a better position. But they need to have evidence to show these things. That's the best thing to have. Other things, of course, are family, a wife or children. And obviously, you're not going to try and bring them to the UK. They're not allowed to. But they have a family or a home or assets back in their home country that mean their ties are very strong. So I think I've covered them all, Richard. Did I miss any?
You're right. You're right. This is a very important part. And then what is very important is as well, they have this 2-year post-study work visa. I mean, technically, if the gentleman asks the questions, you wish to work after you finish the master, technically you have to say no. But there is as well another answer which can be correct. Another answer which can be correct, correct me, Dr. Bayley, if I'm wrong, is yes, I want to stay 2 more years in the UK because I want to take experience after I did my master, in order I can take this experience back to my home country. So there is always a way how to answer these questions.
Yes, that's correct. Either you say you want to go back to a job in the UK, in your home country, with the degree that you've attained, but another way also is to say that you'd like. So it's a separate way to answer correctly. Is you'd like to stay in the UK and get work experience in the UK, so that you can take this experience back to work in your father's company or to work in the government in your country or whatever you take. So you have to emphasize the experience that you can gain, but you don't ever say your long-term goal is to stay in the UK forever. That would be a no.
Yeah. And another very important point, as you mentioned before, Ms. Manali, is the financial part. The financial part is fundamental, especially for Pakistan, for India, Nepal, Bangladesh, Afghanistan. What I noted in the last, let's say, 9 months is besides paying the full tuition fee, the 1 year or 75%, they look into how you can afford to live in the UK for 3 years. I received an email from Richmond, American University, 3 weeks ago from the director. He said to me, Richard, I want to see they have £100,000 available for paying because they're doing a bachelor program. Okay, so 100,000 because logically the tuition fee is 60,000, 70,000 plus the accommodation 10,000 plus living costs another 5,000-7,000. 3 years is 100,000. So he say, I want to see that this candidate has 100,000 pounds available for 3 years. So because they're worried that students apply for a bachelor, they pay the first deposit or is 1 year or 75% or 50%. And then after, when they arrive in the UK, they will not pay anything else and they will escape. Let's put it like this one. Or,
Yeah.
or they just go back to the university, but they need to ask for the possibility to pay in 3 years, in 5 years, in 7 years, etc. So for this, this is a big issue. So how to go through this, how to solve this problem is to show evidence. So what we suggest always is if the parents have a house or if they have a company, they need to prove this and they need to tell the value of the house or the company, the taxation for the last 2 years. Mr. Manali, how you face this problem usually?
Actually, for my students, as you know, that here in Pakistan, most of them are farmers, agriculturists, land. So we say that my father has 100 acres of land. His monthly income is £5,000. I'm the only dependent, or me and my mother are the only dependent. My other brothers and sisters are totally independent. So my father can easily 2,000 to 3,000 pound monthly for my living expenses and my tuition fees. I don't have any financial concern because my father is here to support me.
Okay, and it works still today, or they're asking for more question now?
It worked.
It works because now the situation.
Richard, I'm here in Pakistan and I have lots of agents that share me stuff. They got refusal for one question, reason for studying in UK, why you don't study in Australia. One of the students replied that Australia visa processing time takes lots of time. That's why I didn't proceed for Australia. I proceeded for UK and they refused that visa because of this. The answer that the student should have gave is that actually I prefer UK. UK master degree is just 1 year. UK universities are worldwide recognized. UK universities maintain high standard as they are maintained by quality assurance agency. They shouldn't have mentioned that the time visa processing takes time. So it shows that it's not totally a genuine student.
Yeah, but these as well sometimes tricky questions because students maybe are very genuine, but they just are too naive and they just answer in a very kindly way. They say, yes, I want to go to the UK because for Australia, it takes me 6-9 months to get a visa. And sometimes, we have to understand that this examiner, they're just sitting down somewhere in the UK and they just making £100 for every interview. And for them is done. They need to put this tricky question. So now we notice that a lot of examiners, they put tricky question. This is one of them as well. Why you are not going to Australia? And the answer is usually because it takes a long time to get a visa. Wrong. You have to say that, as you mentioned before, that they want to go to the UK because the master is a 1-year master. In Australia, maybe can be a 2 years. So they have to go more in another direction instead to reply on what they was asking for. So to make a long story short, this webinar today is for you to understand that WEBA has now on board Dr. Chris Bayley, which is a former UK director from the University of Northampton. And we give the possibility.
Richard, University of Nottingham. Richard.
Sorry, Nottingham. Sorry, I always forget Northampton, Nottingham. It starts with N. N is still offending.
Yeah.
It starts with N. So there are so many universities in the UK. So the University of
Nottingham.
University of Nottingham. I rewrite down this 10 times again. So we give the opportunity to students from agents who you think they are not ready to pass the pre-CAS interview to receive the service of Dr. Chris Bayley. And they will do an interview with him, which will take usually 45 minutes. And he will assist your students and explain to them from another direction how the interview will begin. So yeah, this is to make a long story short. This is why we're having this webinar today. So
yes,
logically, if you, Mrs. Manali, have 100% students who pass, then there is no need to use Dr. Chris Bayley. But if these things change, we are here to support you and to assist you.
Richard, actually, I'm lucky I met Dr. Chris here. I can learn more from him. He's more expert than me in that field. I'm consultant and he's an expert. So we can learn much more from him.
Well, thank you. And it's a pleasure speaking with you all. I think I might have met Mrs. Manali once. I went to Mauritius a while ago, and I was with WEBA in some of the conferences in London. You seem familiar. Do you remember me? I used to work at another university, the Sino-British College in Shanghai, for a few years, and I was the director of recruitment of international there. Did I meet you before?
Maybe.
I think, yes, we met before in London in 2019, I think.
You have a good memory.
Yes, correct. We had the workshop in London at the Heston Heights Hotel. And
right. We met over there.
Yes, and you came. I remember, Chris, you was there as well, and Mrs. Manali was there as well. I remember it was 4 years ago, so this is a very, very good. I mean that we was all there at this time. So this is our additional service WEBA is offering. If you have a case that you have a student that you thinking is not able to pass the CAS interview, then we suggest to contact us, to contact our office, and we will arrange the interview with Chris Bayley, and so he will prepare the candidate. So the success rate is going much better since he's on board, and for other agents as well, and for WEBA students. As you know, we are working together with some UK university as well directly. And one of them is Richmond American University in London, University of Winchester, Regent College London, Sunderland, and University of Chichester. So we have other university which we work together very, very close. And if you need to use one of our university and book through our portal, you're more than welcome. But logically, I always suggest everyone, if you have a good relation with your university, you should continue to work with them. This is very, very important, because now what happened, especially for Southeast Asia, universities start to make a selection of agents, they're working together. And the one who not able to deliver a good number of students, they close the agreement. This is the information that I have at the moment, unfortunately. And
I also have this so that they are monitoring the agent performance now. Even universities, they are excluding. It's a good process, Richard, because honestly, there are so many agents and they are not doing a proper job over here. So it's a good process to just keep the proper consultants who has a proper ICF, proper everything, the knowledge, and so that they can recruit the proper students as well.
Yes, I agree with you completely. So this is a little bit the situation now with WEBA, what we integrate in our service for our network of agents. We are working together since long time, who are member of WEBA, who attend our workshop, etc. If you have any case study with some difficult students who need a little bit more preparation for the CAS interview, you can always reach us, and we are more than happy to assist you with these students and bring them together with Dr. Chris Bayley for a pre-CAS interview. This is about the webinar of today. So Mr. Karam Krishna Prajapati, if you want to add something, you're more than welcome. Mr. Ram Krishna? No additional news. Okay, fantastic. Dave, if you want to add something, you're more than welcome. And as well, the company Cofado, if you have any questions you want to bring on board, you're more than welcome. Okie dokie. So there are no additional questions. Mrs. Manali, you have any additional questions?
No, Richard, but you know, it's becoming tough. Students need to be more than 100% well prepared.
Yes, I agree with you 100%, and we will keep informing agents about this possibility. And thank you very much to join. Chris, thank you very much to you as well.
Thank you so much. Hi, Simran. Thank you.
Thank you, Simran. Have a lovely day.
Thank you, everyone. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone.
See you at the next WEBA
Yes.
Agents Fair.
Thank you, Dr. Chris. Thank you, Richard. See you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Voilà.